The most memorable show was, well, I'll have to ask Johnny about this because he's like the Chronicle a little bit.
I'll verify.
This is a show we did with Pantera in Las Vegas. Was it like 97?
95.
95, where we got them banned from Las Vegas because we had carried out their entire catering table.
No, that.
Well, that was the night before.
That was like in San Jose.
I don't know.
We
man,
threw out 1,000 rolls of toilet paper.
2,000 rolls.
2,000?
2,000 rolls of toilet paper.
Those dudes were knee deep in toilet paper on stage, and like the entire guitar rig went down. It was just feedback, and we were just tackling each other for like 40 minutes on stage. And that's basically what the audience got. Like, I remember squeezing a bottle of ketchup in Dimebag's eyes.
I remember that, man.
They went, "Ah!"
You blinded him, man.
They came out with garbage bags all over their clothes to cover themselves because they knew that it was going to get crazy.
That was a lot of fun.
One time we threw a hard-boiled egg at Philip, and it hit him in the head, and it busted open on the floor, and it was like a knife, a plastic knife and fork on the stage, and he sat down and started eating the egg.
When we were playing, Dime and Vinny, they came up onto the drum riser, and Dime had a fish that was about yay big, and he had it by the tail, and he was just whacking me with it. And Vinny Paul was behind me with a can of sardines with a fork on.
That started with the squid. There was like a month before that, I used to wear these big biker boots up to here, and I used to wear my pants inside them, you know, super 80s. And one night, some Pantera fan threw a full squid on stage, a dead squid. So, of course, Dimebag, and they had to cut it up. They cut it up, and every night they try to stuff it down my boots, and they throw it at us while we're on stage. And like the techs they were so like freaked out.
Nauseated.
The entire backline like smelled like dead squid for like a month. Good old days.
That was a fun tour.
It was.
And it's definitely Detroit. You know, it got the name Detroit Rock City for a reason. You know, and the crowds there are insane. The shows are always a lot of fun. You know, it doesn't matter, like, you know, really, you know, what venue we play. You know, we played St. Andrews Hall a number of times, Harpo's, but the crowds are always awesome. It's just wild, especially going back to the Pantera tour. Remember the guy, you could pop his eyeballs out of his socket?
Oh, yeah, that was Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
That was Detroit.
But he's only saying Detroit because that's where his girlfriend's from. So.
We played a bowling alley in Nebraska.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, there was like a bowling alley, and then you had to walk through the bowling alley from the dressing room to the stage. Right next to the bowling alleys, there was like a bar, and then there was a stage there, and it was a small club.
In between every song, you heard.
I don't remember, but yeah, the WSOU, it had to be on. I remember after the Black No. 1 video, I think I had come in from going out and I was really drunk, and I put the TV on and there's my face. That was a really scary thing at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
I remember that interview in Long Island? I forget who was with. It was with Steve Prue. And your ass was about as high as the microphone. And the guy goes, "So what do you think of this album?" And you farted right on cue over the air.
The guy was unimpressed. He didn't.
He was so embarrassed.
He had no sense. Fingers, yeah. Yeah.
I remember the first time seeing us on Beavis and Butthead. That I remember.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
What'd you think?
I thought they were pretty funny.
I thought
they liked us. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
You know.
They were just as sarcastic as we are. So it's like fit, you know.
It was great when Butthead, he was like headbanging slow. He was going, oh.
They were good for us.
He went, oh.
They helped make Blood Kisses go. They helped it.
I would think that our most legendary video would be the Black No. 1. I do like the new video that we just did for Dead Again, which features me as Rasputin, or, you know.
This is the first time you ever got sued by the cast.
Well, thanks to you, fucking Boris Smirnoff.
I think the video I like the most that we did was Everything Dies.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Everything's fried.
I think
I just like the way
I like Black Number. Black Number One's my favorite.
I like the way it was filmed and stuff.
I liked My Girlfriend's Girlfriend the best because I unfortunately had to do those scenes with the two girls like 15 times, and I hate that.
I hate that.
I don't listen to anything new at all. I mean, I actually had to go out and buy the new Type O album because I gave them all away and I could not remember the lyrics, which I still don't. That's my last CD is Our Own.
Was Brand New Sin one of the bands that you dug?
Brand New Sin was pretty cool. You know, they were
good guys.
They were good. They were a good band to tour with. You know, they were a lot of fun.
I like Dio. He's pretty new, right?
Heaven and Hell, they're new.
Who mentioned Hell Yeah? You want to throw that in there? Hell Yeah.
I like the new Hell Yeah record a lot. You know, big fan of Vinnie Paul, and I really like what they did with it. I wasn't quite expecting that when I saw the lineup.
Vinnie Paul's a big fan of Johnny's hair.
Alcohol and ass.
But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Other than that, I'm really not aware of anything new. Our new album, Dead Again, actually, we started working on it, I guess, like in the summer of 2005. Right?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
And we spent a lot of months in the rehearsal studio, like, you know, just jamming on stuff. Sometimes we'd play the same riff for hours. We'd spend the whole day just working on one riff. There was like a number of personal setbacks in between, but
You're like rehab,
Specify.
yeah.
prison, Kings County Hospital Psychiatric Unit, G Ward.
I think that covers all of our setbacks.
We froze our asses off in this little crappy room for 6 months. We were the only band in the whole studio complex to get kicked out for playing too loud because we were right above this Chinese food restaurant.
They kicked us out.
What was her name? Tina?
Tina.
She got me.
She especially had something for Peter. That big idiot. What? That's that big idiot upstairs. And like this, there was like dust coming down from the ceiling. They kicked us out. We had to move across the street. I was like halfway through the album.
And then about April of last year, we started, went to Systems 2, did the basic tracks.
That only took a week.
A week and a half, something like that, 2 weeks, and then went to Josh's house and finished everything else.
For the next 4 months, yeah.
That was a few months, but it was a journey.
That's actually hard for me to say because it's like a guy that works in a car factory all week long. The last thing he wants to do is go home and work on his own car over the weekend. So I really think that you're asking the wrong person because I don't even listen to music when I'm home. Just ask anybody. I rarely go out, but the changes that I have seen, or what I can say is I miss the old hardcore scene. You know, CBGB Sunday afternoon. You know, skinheads and punks fighting. I do miss that a lot. Well, there were clear divisions between musical styles. You know, like you had punk, you had hardcore, you had thrash, you know, you had this metal, you had that metal. Now everything has become, it just seems like a smear of like thrash metal and hip hop. So I call it junk rock. Well, Morrison, John Bonham, Bon Scott, Randy Rhoads, John Entwistle. I mean, there's a great band in heaven. And speaking of heaven, I actually wrote this song, Halloween in Heaven, for Dimebag Darrell. And so that song is about old dead rock stars. And I didn't want to mention his name because I didn't want it to appear that Typo Negative or Peter was exploiting Darrell, because he was a very close friend with the band and he was actually one of Kenny's best friends. And you know, like when you don't see somebody for months at a time, it's hard to believe that you're never going to see them again. You know, and it still hasn't sunk in. You know, maybe that's some kind of defense mechanism. You know, because the older I get, the older my friends get, the more people. You know, it seems like I'm I'm going to a funeral like once every 3 months. That's why I'm like always dressed for it. Because you never know who's going to drop dead next. I hope it's me.
This is Josh from Typo Negative, and we're sitting here in scenic Coney Island, home of the hot dog, home of the mugging victim, and we're going to go talk to some local people and see if they enjoy their surroundings. Let's start with these gentlemen over here. These look like some lovely folks. I think they're probably dealing crack, but we'll find out. What do we got here, buddy? How much? $1 a shot. Gotta do it. Coney Island. No, I suck. I can't do that. I'm gonna do 2 shots, and I probably won't get anything in. If you could tell me where the local crack house is. Is there a crack house around here? Shit. There goes my sporting career. Oh well, there goes my musical career. So, thanks. Well, up here we have the world famous Wonder Wheel. Actually is the largest Ferris wheel in the United States. The only one that can claim they haven't killed anybody in 114 years or something. Been here since, I think 1890 is actually when it was built. And I've lost my lunch on it 1 or 2 times. So, my kid's favorite ride, but I don't bring up my kid in music. It's too dangerous. It's all psychos running around, you know? American fire. I think we should go mug people on the train now. What do you think? I know they treated all the trains with some graffiti-proof substance, which I don't approve of at all, because I think they were much more interesting with the graffiti. And maybe we should interview the police. I get clubbed on. They'll never club me because we're on film. That's right. They never do that shit on film. How come? Any crimes? God. There you go. There's a character. What are you doing? Good God. That was my father. You'll never find me on the Cyclone, but you might find a few decapitated young people who stood up and thought they were cool and ended up headless. And that's absolutely the truth. There have been a number of deaths on this wonderful attraction. Never in my whole life would I go on this piece of shit. It's rickety. Never. It's rickety and it sucks, and I wouldn't get on it if my life depended on it, because it probably does. We're going to get him on it. Turn the camera, please. Let's go across the street and purchase you a ticket. Ticket to death. Here you go. Enjoy. Coney Island Beach. Pan, please. Go step on a hypodermic at your convenience. Let's walk. We'll buy some beer, some oysters. God, I wish I was a mugger. I'd be making money right now. I'd take that camera from you. I want to go rob people in the arcade. That's a famous Brooklyn thing to do. Oh, beating your kid is also a famous Brooklyn thing to do. I prefer the fire engines over here. That's more my speed. I go in the front in that because I'm brave. Turn the camera for the parachute jump. Yep, and that actually was on the front of one of our albums, believe it or not. Still trying to figure out why. I thought it was a hypodermic at first, but I later learned that it was a parachute jump. This is Josh from Typo Negative, and that was Coney Island. Come, get mugged, shoot up, get laid, have fun. Goodbye.